her background is
But-
nerd.
Darren should have gone to school here instead of Cutter, because you are a devil. I can tell you that right now. A minute.
She
early.
rolls in like she's a Hollywood movie star now. She just here, hey, she's just here for the camera.
I guess I tooted.
No hard-hitting questions here.
Yeah,
Shall
but-
we talk about my one sentence resignation?
Well, welcome to the next edition of Spilling the Tea, the road show, as
Yeah,
I
the
like
wet,
to call it.
wet road show.
Yeah, as your hair would indicate.
Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Soaking wet.
yeah,
Pouring
yeah. You
all
know,
morning.
yeah, we were discussing. The crew was discussing. You know, could Candace's hair get any worse? And the overwhelming
can.
answer was absolutely. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
at least this covers them. You can't see
Yeah.
all the swelling
Yeah.
from the humidity.
Yeah, let's run with that. So, okay. But enough about us as usual. We get
Sure.
sidetracked a whole lot.
Easily.
So,
Very easy.
so we're happy to we're at Mountain Pine, by the way, today, one of our schools. And Mountain Pine's been good to the old podcast. I
Yeah,
mean,
we've been out here a few times.
Yeah, lots of
fun.
good folks at Mountain Pine. But we have Miss Jessica Johnson and special education, CBI. Do you do CBI as
Yes,
well?
a CBI, self-contained.
Okay, all right. So as far as CBI, let's just start with that a little bit. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. First of all, let's get to know Jessica Pate Johnson, because as Pate,
'Cause-
I was
'Cause you are old. You are old man.
yeah. So I was a teacher, and again, I do apologize. That's I have to do that when I think back to my teaching days. I spent 4 whole years in the classroom,
Poor
and
Jessica.
woo, Lord,
Poor,
yeah.
poor Jessica.
But what I'm saying, it does my heart incredibly well to see people overcome the obstacle
Mr. Beckwith.
that I
Coach
was.
Beckwith.
Coach
Yep.
Beck, as I was known
Coach
in the
Beck.
day. That's right. Yeah.
Coach
So
Beck.
so see, she relates. She
Yeah.
knows that name. So I've been called lots of things, but
Me too.
yeah. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too.
So give us a little background about you, and then most importantly, how you got pulled into education.
Well, I'm from Jessieville,
Mm-hmm.
and I had children, and I was a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
Well, they went to school, and I thought, I really don't want to be home.
Right. Yeah.
So I became a para to stock my children.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was a para for 7 years.
Right.
And while I was being a para, I decided I'm going to go to school and get my teaching degree.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and now here I am at Mountain
Okay.
Pine.
Yeah.
Aw, she was at Fountain Lake, but
Yeah.
I had already left. I think you may have
Yeah. Yeah.
too
Yeah.
before we didn't cross paths at Fountain Lake.
No.
So.
Right. Yeah.
I started out at Jessieville. Jessieville and Fountain Lake had a combined program for their CBI.
Right.
And then we bused from Jessieville to Fountain Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fountain Lake ended up hiring me on.
Right. Okay.
And
So CBI, we've mentioned that a couple of times, and as we often do in education, a lot of acronyms. But what does CBI stand for?
community-based instruction.
Okay. And so tell us a little bit about that program and what it looks like.
So community-based instruction is where you go out into the community, and essentially you're taking your classroom out into the community. You're teaching them life skills, how to read road signs, how to act in a restaurant.
Right.
We've even taught them how to go to a movie before.
Right.
A lot of our kids, they don't know how to do the leisure part of life.
Sure. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
do a little bit of that
Yeah.
out in the community.
Yeah, and you know, like me too, isn't it? And Candace, to a large degree, she went to a big metropolitan school in Malvern, but I mean,
A lot bigger than.
yeah, I went to Cutter, and of course you went through Jessieville. Shout out, we both lived there. You know what I'm saying? God's country. So, but anyway, but what I would say is, you know. Even small school, small town area like that, you don't get a lot of those life experiences, right? You know, and a lot of things that snooty people like Candace take for granted.
Whatever.
You know,
Whatever.
but you know, fortunately now we have a Walmart and some things like that. But as far as you know, again, we take it for granted. You know, some kids may or may not have the experience of just something as simple as sitting down in a restaurant.
Right.
Or even going to the library.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the county
Yeah.
library, that's awesome.
Mhm.
It's at K6. You
Yes,
Yeah.
I have K6.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the self-contained part,
Mhm.
I mean, let's talk a little bit about that. What that means.
Okay. So for the most part, I do their core instruction in the classroom, and we try to push them into general education when we
Mhm.
can.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
It's just based on the kid.
Right. Yeah. How many kids you have right now?
Right now, I have 6.
6. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Mhm.
Okay. So, and what's the grade levels?
K through 6.
K6. Okay. So yeah, you got a little bit of
That's a
that
big
might
range, kindergarten through to a
Yeah.
sixth grader.
Yes.
Yeah.
and that probably could be a bit of a challenge
Yeah.
on some days,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
You know, just
Especially with instruction. When
Right.
you have one on kindergarten level and one's on 3rd grade. So
right. Yeah. How do you balance that?
You just, like if you're teaching addition, maybe this kid's on single digit addition.
Right.
And this one's on regrouping.
Right.
You're still teaching addition, but
Mhm.
they're just at different levels.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Keeps you hopping, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
I mean, if they're with you pretty much most of the days, you
Yeah.
easily get attached. I mean, I can think,
Oh,
you know,
yes.
just having kids
Yeah.
45 minutes a day for
Mhm.
the year, you get attached to them. But really, I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Right.
kind of like second home. You
Yes.
know, they're with you
hmm
a
Yeah.
lot of the time. That's awesome.
So, how long have you been here?
This is my 4th year here.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I got you. Okay, so did you spend all 3 years in like the mentoring program there with Tina or not? I mean,
Well, my schedule's a little off. I'm always
Right.
a little different.
sure, sure, right, yeah,
So I started in January here at Mountain Pine, and I was a resource teacher in high school.
okay,
Well, the position came open in CBI, and I was moved to CBI. So that's my 3rd year in CBI here.
okay,
But so because I started in the middle of the year,
mm-hmm.
Tina and I just thought we'll just start at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
that's
Fresh
good.
year.
Right.
That's good.
Mhm.
So, and what would you say as far as that's what I love about doing these road shows?
Yeah.
Honestly, is like,
Brings
hey,
back the memories.
we get the full experience. We get the announcements.
Get the intercom. get the-
Yeah, we get all that
Yeah.
stuff. So, but the occasional student busting in,
Uh-huh.
so, yeah, we love it. So, but as far as the mentoring piece, we talk about this a lot. You know, and believe it or not, Candace and I student taught together. We really did.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
Don't dye my hair, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah. I don't either. That's the reason I got a hat
doesn't
on.
either,
It's
yeah.
so gray from working with Candace. I've hired her not once, but twice. Woo, Lord. So
Punishment.
yeah, but we didn't have that mentor experience as far as I mean, talk about the importance. I think maybe of just sitting down with other new teachers.
I think I see it as a lifeline
Mm-hmm.
because we can learn from each other and find out what works here and if I'm having an issue, I can say, this is what's happening. Do you have any suggestions?
Right.
Anything
Yeah.
like that. It's a
Yeah.
lifeline, I would say.
And it's also pretty good to know you're not the only one
Mm-hmm.
that's having that issue.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
at times, I mean, you know, when you're teaching, there's like, I mean, a couple of things you don't really get a do-over, but again, even as you know, as the best laid out plan, it doesn't always go like that.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
kids are kids, and,
Mhm.
and to me, that's the
Yeah.
that's the thing that kind of keeps you coming back.
Well, and I
so.
think about like when I started teaching too, and I went back to my alma mater, and so
Mhm.
I was teaching with all my old teachers,
Mhm.
and of course I wouldn't have survived without them. But we didn't
Right.
have the mentoring program, and I
No.
think it really would have been awesome to have just people even my age that were
Mhm.
kind of going through the same
Yeah.
things because they weren't.
Yeah.
But you know they meant a lot to me
Yeah.
because they did
Mhm.
get me through the first
Yeah.
couple of years. It was crazy.
We laugh about this a lot, but back then they had a thing called the block. But before you went on the block, which is basically an internship, we had a what they call that class, classroom management or something.
like that. I
But
think
it
that's what
was
it's called.
taught from somebody that hadn't been in a classroom. I bet you in 30 years.
Yeah.
So I mean it was crazy.
So you're
Yeah.
walking in going, okay, yeah, well that's
Yeah.
not gonna work.
Yeah, I'm not, yeah. The name on
It's
the
good
pop.
in theory.
Yeah, the name on the popsicle stick doesn't work when you.
Now, but
so-
some of the things, I mean, some of the things that you do learn.
I
in
do the
college you
popsicle
use.
stick.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
and-
well, hey,
well,
I did too.
Well,
I was,
but I tell this is the famous story I tell because we both you student taught where?
I student taught at Magnet.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I student taught at Malvern,
Mhm.
and then I had an 18-year-old guy that was court ordered to be at school, was his only reason for being at school. So I'm guessing if I'd have pulled out a popsicle stick, he probably would have got pretty colorful with what I could
Yeah.
do with it.
Mine's a little different.
Sure.
I put an activity on the back of mine. So I ask them a question. If they get it right, we get to do the activity.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
like
that's
roller
really good.
coaster or Mario
Right.
Run or
Right.
something like
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
I
But
just use it whenever I realize, okay, we're not paying attention.
yeah, yeah.
But I mean, I still even suggest though popsicle sticks, especially teachers that have trouble calling on different students in
Mhm.
class.
Yeah.
It just helps them kind of, or like something random on
Right.
the smart
Yep.
board they can use. But it's a good
Right.
tool.
So you're not calling on the same one.
Yeah, you're not
Yep.
calling on the same
Yeah.
ones all the time.
Well, it's a good
Yeah.
tool, but you also got to use common sense
Yeah,
with it.
yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
he was that one kid I never will forget. I'd see him coming down the hall, and my whole demeanor would change. I'd be like, "Ugh." So, but I also learned a lot. You know what I'm saying? We got toward the end there. I mean, we got to where we got along pretty good. So,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
go to church with one of Coach Beck's former students, and
Yeah.
she was like, "Oh my gosh, he sent me to the office," and I was like, "Oh, he did." I was
Yeah.
like cracking up. She goes,
Yeah.
"Yeah, but I deserved it." It was
yeah. Samantha Turner, you remember
Yeah,
her?
yeah,
I'll-
remember.
yeah. She's now a school board member.
Oh.
Eek, how scary is that? So, see?
I'm gonna
see?
tell her to watch this.
Yeah.
You're gonna-
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Jessica. Hey, she'll amen the choir on that
Yeah,
one. No.
He's awesome. But
Yeah.
she said, yeah, I
Yeah.
deserved it. But
Yeah.
and she still liked him.
Yeah. But the thing that I love about it is though, is the level of I guess involvement that some of the students, going through school and loving life.
Yeah.
See education
Yeah.
differently now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'll be the first one to tell you I'm exactly the same way, and Mountain Pine, I don't know if I've ever said this, maybe I have, but a huge part of why I'm in education was I was in radio doing different things, whether it be Red Ribbon Week, Career Day, or whatever. But I remember being here and really having that God moment on the way home, thinking, wow, as I get a chance to go out
Yeah.
and see all these
Yeah.
folks, it's kind of like he was laughing at that point, said, okay, you've done what you wanted to, now it's my turn, kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, starting out, did you ever envision yourself being a teacher?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah.
That's-
Again, I apologize.
No,
probably-
She said,
Hey.
I'm definitely not going to be
Hey.
like Coach Beck.
I started to say I probably had that effect on a lot of kids. There's probably, there's
whatever.
probably a lot of missing teachers out there
Yeah.
because they had me.
I give him
so.
a hard time, but he's got a
Yeah.
good heart. He
Yeah.
cares about kids.
But and it's one of those things about teaching. It's definitely one of those heart professions. If you don't have a heart for it, you're not going to
Yeah,
last.
that's right.
And I think looking back and how it transpired for me, and it sounds a lot like you, with that not necessarily being on my radar, I really had to think through it, right?
Mhm.
And it really means a lot more to me, I think, than it would had I gone a different route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think, just even in the CBI realm, just seeing that from teacher friends and then also being in the principal role, it just takes a special person to fill that role. And so, anyway, I commend,
Right.
I love
I
it.
commend you. Cause
I love the
yeah.
excitement of it.
Yeah.
It's different every day.
100%.
Yeah.
That I talk about that even how we are involved in education
Mhm.
today, but especially in the classroom. The first thing she's a list person,
Me
right?
too.
Yeah.
But the thing about teaching is the first thing you do with that list is pretty much throw it in the trash,
Yeah.
right? Because 10
Right.
minutes in, what you had planned some days
Yeah.
is not
Not
what's
gonna
about to
happen.
happen.
Leave it
Right.
on there. You get to it maybe
Right.
eventually. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, besides the obvious, what other teacher inspired you as you look back on it to give education a go?
I had so many good teachers at Jessieville. Miss
Mhm.
Bremer,
Yep.
Coach Oates,
Mm-hmm.
Coach Phillips,
Yep.
Coach Sutton.
Yep. Yep.
I liked PE a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach Sutton was the king of PE, wasn't he? He even taught my wife back in the day. So, but yeah, he's synonymous with a great PE experience.
Mhm.
He's one of those guys you can't help but love.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it just shows it doesn't matter, different kids are going to relate with different adults. And adults, that's the thing. If
Mm.
educators could all grasp that, you just are going to make an impact. You want to try to make that
Yeah.
positive impact because
Right.
you are going to impact more than one kid. I mean,
Yeah.
but, you know, we're all here for
Yeah.
different kids,
Yeah.
and different people. At
Well,
different times.
and that's the thing. I mean, you've got one of two ways to impact them. It's either going to be
Yeah.
positive or not.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I even look back and think, gosh, I probably shouldn't have done this. I mean, you know, just you learn and grow,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
just to try to make that positive impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So if you weren't teaching, what do you think you'd be doing?
Something holistic,
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So do you dabble in that a little
a
bit?
little bit, yeah.
Okay. All right.
yeah.
Do you have anything for like ugly hair on a rainy day? Do they make that essential oil?
No, we're like our age, bad.
Oh wait, no, wait. Oh,
or sore hips,
or what's
or
that?
sore legs.
Or what's
yeah.
that?
I do make something for that.
There you go. Hey, Katie. Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
see. I
Yeah.
like it.
Well, I think Katie's problem is you got to work out more than once every 3 months. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
yeah. She's gonna be like, my legs are sore. I'm not working out.
Yeah,
They're aching
exactly.
For a while.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's interesting. So, do you mix your own, or how does that work?
I make like an ointment for.
Okay.
It has multi-purposes, and
Oh, okay.
actually make it and sell it. People buy it from me.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey,
Hey,
shout out. Let's get a plug.
listen.
What's it called?
Yeah.
Just a herbal salve
Okay.
by me.
Okay.
Yeah.
By me.
It doesn't
Okay.
By
Okay.
Jessica. yeah.
I got you. So, what's the key ingredient in there?
It has like arnica oil.
What is that?
It has some healing properties in it.
Okay.
Hey,
And then it has peppermint oil in it and
Okay.
vitamin E.
Yeah. Vitamin.
Listen.
Okay.
Mhm.
There you go.
I mean,
Hey, she could probably sell that by the tub at the co-op.
yeah. yes. Well,
Wait,
like bring
hey.
that this summer if you're at a session. And,
Well, that's
yeah.
what I started saying. Instead of having all those hand sanitizer stations, we just need to get a pump of that, and you get in there, and,
Yeah.
you know, not creaking around.
Yeah, hey,
So,
it helps. I'm telling
Yeah.
you. That's
yeah.
if it works. then
So,
it
so let's
works.
talk about your family. Married, you said like 20
20
years.
years.
Okay, right.
We have 3 kids.
Uh huh.
We lost 2 kids, and so we're like, we're done. We're just
Mm.
going to adopt.
Mhm.
So we adopted our son.
Mhm.
Huh?
He was 2.
Mhm.
And then, lo and behold, we got pregnant.
Mm.
Aw.
And we had Hannah.
Mhm.
And my son's 18.
Okay. Yeah.
My daughter's 14.
Gotcha.
Oh,
And
you're at the fun age.
yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And then we had another surprise. We
Okay.
had Cora, and she's 3 now.
Oh wow.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
so
see?
you're dealing with
See?
all the teenage stuff,
See?
and then you're gonna be
See?
like, I get to do it again.
I don't know if I can say this or not, but we
Go right
literally
ahead.
had pacifiers in puberty. So
Hey,
Yeah.
there you go.
You could totally say that. We
Well,
talk about passing gas on the
Oh
podcast.
yeah,
I
that is
mean, you
yeah,
know.
that is not the worst thing.
Yeah,
no,
no,
yeah.
No.
See, that just proves God's got a sense of humor.
That's
So you
right.
think you're all well and done, and
Done.
He said,
Yeah.
"Yeah,
Hey,
we were
Okay.
planning like we're gonna get an RV and we're gonna travel,
yeah,
and then we got pregnant.
yeah."
Yeah.
now you just
That's
gotta get a bigger one, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Bigger on
yeah.
me. Just have to
So-
put it on
She'll
hold a
go
little
with
bit.
us when we retire. So
Hey,
Yeah,
there you go. There you go. So
That's
how many
awesome.
years you got in education now?
11 altogether.
11 altogether. Okay.
Yay.
Yeah.
It goes fast.
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
Here we're 29, and we're
Yeah.
just like, where did it go?
Yeah. Absolutely. So,
Crazy.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we've just added a dog to our family.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of dog?
It's a paradoodle.
No, what's a
What's a
paradoodle?
It's a Great Pyrenees
Okay.
and a
Oh.
poodle.
Uh huh.
Mm.
Let me tell you, my daughter, who would take home every dog from the
Uh-huh.
dog pound, got a half hound, half Great Pyrenees, and it's huge.
They are big.
And
Yeah.
then she is about to get married, and where they live, they cannot have a
Oh.
giant dog.
So you get to have a grand dog.
So yeah.
So the Great Pyrenees, I've only come across this name lately. So what does that dog actually look like?
Here, I'll Google it.
Okay.
You're talking.
Okay.
They are really pretty, and they,
They are
are
pretty.
very
Smart.
sweet and smart.
Gotcha.
Like
Yeah.
he is so sweet. It's the sweetest dog.
So-
and he's huge.
They are huge. The palm,
Mm-hmm.
his paw fits in my hand.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And
So-
he's a puppy. He's 3 months.
Okay. So did y'all buy this one, or did you? Is it like a rescue?
So
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, mine looks similar like that. He's a little fuzzier because of the poodle.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so he has a backstory. My friend breeds these dogs and sells them.
Gotcha.
Well, I stole the picture off of Facebook and I sent it to my husband. I said, I wish we could get this dog.
Right.
Well, he's not a dog person, so I just left it.
Right.
Well, we were in church Wednesday night, and my friend messaged me and said, "Do you want this dog for free?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Well,
Yeah.
Chris is going to have to be
Yeah.
on board."
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So her husband called my husband, and now we
Yeah.
have Winston.
Okay. Well, good. Well,
Ours
good
is
for,
Maverick.
good for you.
Yeah, my daughter's, she's rescued like 3 dogs from
Aw.
the pound.
Yeah.
She would take them all.
Yeah.
She
Right.
would. But he's sweet, but man,
Yeah.
like they eat a lot.
Energy.
And then like my car, I just have a regular car. When Sarah came home with me one day, I don't know if he likes hurt her or whatever, jumps on, like stands up and his paws are on top of my car. That's
Yeah.
how big this dog
They
is.
get
Right.
they're tall, yeah.
He's huge. I can't even, I'm just like,
Well,
wow.
it sounds a lot like you though. Eats a lot,
Well,
a lot of
yeah.
energy.
Yeah, sure.
You wouldn't think it. Yeah, you think between the two of us that she eats 3 times as much as I do. Can I get an amen from the
No.
crew?
No.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
maybe
100.
more often, but I just have like
Yeah.
a scoop of peanut butter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I did get somebody had those good truffles out yesterday, and I walk in. It was like what 8:15.
Yeah,
He goes,
she look-
of course you're eating.
Yeah.
at
She,
8:58
she
this
looks like a
morning."
chipmunk. So,
I
it's,
couldn't pass up the truffles.
No.
it's
Never.
mind blowing. So
Yeah. I do like chocolate. It's my weakness.
Right. So the good thing about teaching, lots of aha moments throughout your career. Have you had one yet in particular?
Oh, yeah. Lots of them. Mine's a little different.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So like when I do DT, which is
Mhm.
discrete trial,
Mm-hmm.
and when I'm working with a student and we finally get it could be letters,
Right.
and we're like, yes, and we have this huge celebration.
Yeah.
Just last week I had a kid master one of his goals, and we all threw a little party. We gave
Yeah.
him some good positive vibes his way.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, that's one thing we talk about. I mean, as serious as education is with testing and all these other things, to me, that's one of the things that's really overlooked if we're not careful is the celebration
Mhm.
piece.
Yes.
And I mean, kids especially, but heck, I'm like anybody else. I like a good celebration.
Yeah.
If we're doing something right or we meet a goal,
Mhm.
we need to celebrate that. We
Yeah.
need to let the kids know that all that hard work has
Mhm.
been worth it, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So why special education? I mean,
I just love it. I have a passion for it. I like to see the kids. So I have some kids that can't talk.
right.
So
Mhm.
I like the mystery of it. How can I help this kid learn how to talk?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, or I can't go to the cafeteria because I just can't handle that.
Right.
What can I
Right.
do to help this kid get to
Right.
the cafeteria?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
That's awesome.
I
Yeah.
do have academic side of my job, but
Sure.
Mm.
Sure.
also have a little bit different
Right.
Yeah.
approaches.
Life skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, and this is what I remember about Jessica as a student. Super quiet, right?
Mhm.
She, I mean, was one of those that, hey,
I was super quiet too. Can you believe
Yeah.
that?
no, I don't believe that for 2 seconds.
It's true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. I look at that 80s hairdo you had on the dance team. No way you were quiet.
No, I was very quiet, really.
Yeah. Well, let me just say,
Bossy, but quiet.
hey, let me say this. Your hair wasn't.
Yeah.
Wait a second. How can you be bossy and quiet? You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
It does
yeah.
happen.
It does.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
can happen.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It can happen.
But she was in again, my view of Jessica, rule follower, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't see that being you though.
Oh no,
I
was
don't
a
know if
real
you
follower.
remember this or not.
Throw it on me. I'm old, but hey.
Oh yes, come on.
We were
Jessica.
taking a test, and whoever was sitting beside me asked me a question, and you thought I was cheating,
Uh-uh.
and you got on to me.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
the
see,
mean Coach Bay,
Hawkeye right there.
Mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mister. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
how many times did you cheat on a test in school?
Hey, we're not talking about me. I will
Oh
say.
yeah, we are.
I will
Yeah,
say
we are.
this: the one time I did, I got caught. And the good
I
news
know.
was my dad was on school board, and back that was back in the day. They just call you parents. I was
Yeah,
like, oh
yeah.
my gosh.
I know.
So
I was a
anyway.
semi-rule follower, but I can remember, like, your kids.
Yeah.
Somebody will ask, and they're like,
yeah.
you know,
So you, well then, with that being said, you were probably freaking out at that point, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
I did do it.
Yeah. 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 So you know,
gosh.
with like I said, I just want to say how proud I am of you from the standpoint of coming through a non-traditional pathway. Because I mean that's not easy to do
Yeah.
because to a large degree that's kind of how it worked out for me. I mean, when I decided to go back, I had a family and I still had to contribute as
Yeah.
much as possible.
Mhm.
And so Cara, I didn't have kids at the time, but that's even an extra.
That's what I was gonna say,
That's an
too.
added
Yeah.
responsibility.
Well, Chris was a trooper through it all.
Yeah.
He helped
Yeah.
a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and same way with my wife, very supportive and had a great support group around me, and I mean, because there were days, literally, when I had to change my shift on the radio, so I'd work at night till about midnight, get up and end up going to school. I'd leave the house usually 5:30, 6 o'clock, and just do that grind and.
Did
I
you
kn-
sleep?
Yeah.
A little bit, and somebody asked me one day, and you could probably relate to this. They're like, "Well, how'd you do that? You just
Yeah.
don't think about it, do you?"
You just do it.
That's right,
Yeah.
exactly, and that's but I'm so glad that story rolled out the way it has because I've been able to share that not only with kids along the way, but with other young adults or adults in general that may have that passion.
Yeah.
And it's never ever too late to go out and go for what you're really called
Right.
to do.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's right.
So-
It's never too
Hands
late.
down, agree.
Never too late,
Never
and that's the thing. Sometimes I think we get locked into that and thinking,
Yep.
but and you'll probably agree with me. But I think the hardest step was the first step.
Yeah.
Just
Getting over the thought of it, I think.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's kind of where I adopted the philosophy in life. Sometimes you truly have to go from what if to what the hell, meaning what's the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, because you worry about failure a lot.
yeah.
But what if you fly? So
That's right. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
You
Yeah.
gotta fail to
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah,
Grow.
and yeah, we talk about failing
Yeah.
forward a lot
Yeah.
because some of the best lessons we've
Yeah.
learned absolutely come out
Yeah.
of failure. So
Yep.
yeah.
and like I said, hiring Candace twice been a whole lot of failure. I promise you that. So at the end of the day, what would be your encouragement to somebody that may be contemplating, going back to school for whatever?
Well, just do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take the leap.
Just
huh?
take the leap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know what'll come of it.
Right.
And maybe you'll go down this path and realize I don't really want to go that way. I'd rather
Right.
go this way.
Sure. You're right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's never too late.
Never
Yep.
too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's the thing too about, education, whether you're a para, a teacher, or even at the co-op level, we never stop learning.
That's right.
Yeah.
Never stop learning.
Yeah, and that's the thing I think that's pretty cool about it. I mean,
Yeah.
we may complain about a new initiative or something, but at the end of the day, that kind of forces our hand to get in there, get
Right.
Yeah.
involved, and learn more about it. So
Yeah.
it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's just a few fun little
Now for the,
questions.
yeah, now
here.
for the,
boy.
now
So-
for the
so-
fun questions.
So what's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten?
The best piece of advice. Probably don't take yourself so serious.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Karen knows all
Yeah.
about that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've got a story where when I was hadn't been Fountain Lake very long as superintendent, but anyway, long story short, they had a situation go on and the news called and said, "Hey, we're coming, not can we? We're coming." And so anyway, long day. And anyway, I get home and it's about I don't know probably 10 o'clock or so on the news, and they said, and Superintendent Darren Beckwith, and I look up at this picture, and it's this guy, and bless his heart, maybe he had 3 teeth in his head, cigarette hanging out, and they said,
Superintendent Darren Beck.
and underneath it says Superintendent Darren Beckwith. But I had the funniest part about all that. I had people literally in my life I thought had passed away calling and going, "Hey, we saw you on the news." You know, they were up in Northeast Arkansas, and I was like, "Well, okay then." So, but
So funny.
yeah. So what about the maybe not so good piece of advice that you got?
Oh my.
Well, and
Oh, that-
probably
like you focus on the good about
but probably a little bit like mine. You know, when you decided to go back, did you have a few naysayers going? You know, do you realize what you're doing? You know, that's maybe not the best plan at that point, or
I don't know. I didn't really listen to them if they were.
right? Exactly. Well, that's the best.
If I have my mind made up, it's happening.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's good.
yeah. So
That's good.
yeah. So what year did you graduate?
2002.
2002.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Okay, so yeah.
Young.
That's been a hot minute, but still, for me, that's even a hotter
She's in the
minute.
2000s, you know.
Yeah,
We're back in the 1900s.
Exactly,
As the
exactly.
kids say, you were born in
Yeah.
the 1900s.
So what about musically? What are you into on your playlist? I mean, coming to work or whatever.
Well, I usually listen to worship music
Yep.
or podcasts
Yeah.
or audiobooks on
Okay.
Libby.
So what kind of podcast outside of Studio D? Obviously.
yeah.
That's,
Well, I listen to the reading podcasts
mm,
and my
Yeah.
holistic podcast.
yeah. Right.
Of course, this one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah. Well, I again, the other Mountain Pine Connection. I'm a Bobby Bones guy because you know, just the fact that he's from around this area.
Yeah,
and,
that's
and
really
and
cool.
I'm old enough to remember watching him at basketball games, right, announcing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah. But
That's pretty
you know.
cool.
And
Yeah.
and the thing about podcasts that you know, we're starting to see, we got more and more kids wanting to start them. So
Yeah.
and that's pretty exciting.
They're
because-
fun.
Yeah, they
Mhm.
really are.
They are. It is cool just to get to know
Yeah.
people, and you know,
Right.
I'll listen to some and
Yeah,
kind of get hooked because
yeah.
most of the time I just like listen to music, but
Mhm.
I'll flip on a podcast and then
Yeah.
you kind of get into it. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're like you want to
Yeah.
know about these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny story. Candace thought she caught me one day. She said, "You butt dialed me, and you were just singing," and I just said, "You're welcome." So
Yeah, I
my
was
gift to her.
driving. I could not get it
Hey,
recorded.
yeah.
I was like
My gift to her. My gift to her.
so mad I couldn't.
That's funny
record
because
it.
I've done that to some people.
Oh,
My
yeah.
friend, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have
Yeah.
And
no.
then you just hang up.
He was jamming. I can't even remember
Yeah.
what song it was.
Oh,
You
I
remember
know.
what
It was Johnny Paycheck. Don't take her. She's all I got.
yeah.
So,
Oh,
but it was actually the
Not
Tracy
all I-
Bird
Yeah,
version.
it was
not
the
not to
it
get
was
too deep.
Tracy Bird. Yeah.
Yeah, not to get too deep
I was
into the
cracking
details.
up. It was
So.
it was hilarious.
So what about this? This is a great question for teachers. Tell us about an embarrassing moment.
I knew you were going to ask this
Ah.
one.
All right,
We've
good.
all had them.
We've all
several of
had
them.
Yeah.
And funny thing is, something happened just this morning.
Oh,
I
yeah.
said, I've
that's
got
awesome.
one.
Our fresh
Fresh.
one. Okay.
Fresh embarrassing
Yeah.
moment.
So we were going over the high frequency word I.
Mm-hmm.
And was going around the table with my students. I said, we're going to use I in a sentence. And I'm like, I like pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So then we started. And one of my kids is like, I like boogers. And I'm like, I'm not going to let this interrupt instruction. We're going
right.
to keep rolling with it. And I said, well, some
Right.
people like boogers.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and he goes, I didn't say boogers. I said, what'd you say? He said burgers.
That's awesome.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we had a little moment. We all laughed.
Well, you know,
Great.
and it's funny that we say that, and because I was listening again to one of Bobby Bones's mini podcasts. It happened to be the one for Yellowstone. So Teeter, the character, is portrayed from being from Arkansas. And he said, well, where I grew up, he said, I had to do countless hours of speech therapy to say, instead of saying I, is I.
Yeah.
And then, and,
'Cause I
and
still say I.
well, and then obviously the ing, you
Yeah.
don't go
And-
fishing, you go fishing.
I'm fixing. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's funny you say that because I think a lot of times we all get caught up in, but that's awesome.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
So, looking down the road for you. I mean, what you have future plans above in the seat you're sitting in now? or
I don't know. I'm going to stay in CBI as long as I can. I do have a master's degree in reading intervention.
oh wow, good for you.
So
Yeah.
I may eventually go that direction one day. I just have, I'm waiting for God to kind of lead me on that
Absolutely.
direction.
Sure.
Right.
I also have a little bit of interest in behavioral supports.
Yeah. Right.
I've been asked to be on the panel for the Arkansas school because they're having issues with kindergartners and behavior.
Right.
So I'm going to be
Yeah.
on that panel this summer in
Good
July.
for you.
That's a
yeah.
great opportunity.
And then
Yeah.
the Arkansas Behavioral Support System has asked me to record some videos with them to do some behavior breaks. So,
Okay. Awesome.
Great.
so I
Yeah.
kind of dabble in that a little
Yeah.
bit. I don't have a
that's
degree in it
good.
or anything.
Right.
Yeah,
but
that's
Right.
really good.
Yeah.
I live it Tuesday through Friday though.
Well, yeah, well, and
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's what I started to say. But you know, even the parent of a 3-year-old, 14-year-old, 18-year-old, hopefully, you know, but you know, some of that. You ever catch yourself trying to use some of those strategies at home?
I have on my husband and he'll look at me.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Listen, yeah, after the pockets, we're gonna like, oh, yeah, yeah, go ahead and share. What's the best strategy that we can use on our husbands? That would be great.
Yeah.
Keep the command short.
100%.
Love it.
100%.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Short and probably not so many. That's what I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah, yeah.
Here's your sign.
Yeah.
Trash.
Visuals.
Yeah. Well, you know, and the thing about the behavioral piece, I think that gets overlooked, don't you?
Yeah. I like it though. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean,
not a lot of people say that.
yeah, but no, I mean, I can see where it would be because I mean, if you don't get that under control, learning can't take place.
No.
Yeah.
No.
What are
Yeah.
things you like? What are
So-
decompressing? What do you do to?
Decompress.
Yeah, like what are some of your favorite things to?
Well, I like to hike
Mhm.
and kayak. Now that we have Winston, I like to take him on hikes. Being with my family, we like
Yeah.
to play some card games.
Love cards
Yeah.
with family.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
We had a competition of spoon, and that got woo.
Yeah.
We had people going across the table.
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Serious.
Yeah,
That's
and that's a cool thing about where you know kind of where we live. There's plenty of hiking opportunities.
Oh yes,
yeah.
beautiful
Yeah.
places.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I was out. Yeah, this sounds so well. It's just what I do out in the country. I was out burning some stuff this past weekend, and there's like an old family house behind where we're at.
Is that why the woods on 298 caught on fire?
No,
Was
no,
you?
no, that was not me. But, no,
Sure. Sure.
no. Hey, I don't burn that much. And hey, I keep mine isolated with a water hose because that's my biggest fear.
I know that would be.
I don't want to be that guy.
That, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, old family house falling in, all that. But I hadn't walked back there in a while. But before I do it, I basically started up, you know, a small mountain, if you will. But it was still kind of uncharted for me.
Yeah.
And that's really and truly, like I say, that's what I love about, you know, my wife and I. She's a Jessville graduate, got married. We lived in town for 6 whole months, and we were both like, no,
Not for you.
Yeah.
not for me.
Yeah.
So
I grew up on 20 acres,
mhm.
wooded.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
had a creek running through our property.
Oh wow.
So,
Yeah.
So we explored the woods a lot and
Yeah.
played in
Gotcha.
the creek and all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Me too.
So your kid's involved, or your 14-year-old involved in athletics,
She
band,
does
or
volleyball
okay.
and she cheers.
Wow.
So she keeps us on our toes with that.
Sure. Right.
And then my 18-year-old, he's still in school,
Uh-huh.
but he does basketball.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
Gotcha.
you're busy.
My
Yeah.
toddler's just into everything.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Say basketball. That's 3 games
Yeah.
a week.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and you said your toddler's 3, right?
Yeah.
Everybody said, "Oh, the terrible twos," but I remember raising our son. Man, when 3 hit, it was like, "Whose kid is this?"
Yeah.
You know,
Then
it's
you
like-
get the terrible 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's very matter of fact.
Yeah. Oh,
And-
is she?
Yeah. Hannah goes, I can't believe you did that. And she goes, I did.
And with older siblings
Man.
too, like it's got to be.
That sounds a whole lot like Katie, doesn't it? Yeah, a whole lot like Katie.
Oh, that's awesome.
So as we wind down here, you know, again, super proud of you.
Oh,
Y-
yeah.
You know, again,
That's-
anybody that can rise above my teaching, I mean, that is an incredible human being right there.
For sure.
and second of all, want to encourage you, man. Keep doing what you're doing because
you.
we need great
teachers.
teachers, 100%. And
Thank you.
and that's one of the cool things about our jobs. I think we get to go out and talk to teachers at all levels.
Mm-hmm.
And probably one of my favorite groups to talk to are the younger ones or even the interns, to
Yeah.
really encourage them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And because I say this a lot and I mean it, I mean, teaching ain't for sissies.
Oh no.
So,
No.
I mean,
And I have a good group of girls here and men that I work with. They are ready to help.
right.
I can call them anytime and say, "Listen, I
Yeah.
need this," and
Right.
That's
So-
really good.
Well, and I find this too because, and you can relate because, the size schools that we went to, I mean, and, I think that, even looking back, as much as I wanted radio to be my life, and it really goes back to the love and care that I got, during those school years, that really pushed me to go this way because, what a difference those folks made in my life. And I didn't even realize it at the time.
right.
And so, but now I find myself leaning on so many of those experiences and how, a few kind words can go such a, because that's really what I, like I say, that's what I go back on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, a few kind words. Think about
Mhm.
that.
yeah, but you're not one of my teachers,
Yeah.
and this is what I would say. I work hard.
Few kind words.
I try to find a few kind words for you, but you're just like a walking billboard for abuse. And again, I don't even have to mention your hair today.
Oh,
so
yeah, I
it's- Oh
know.
Lord.
I'm probably in the same boat
Nah,
today.
usually
You know what you need?
Yeah.
You remember those old things our grandparents wore, those old rain bonnets that tied under? I need to find you one of those.
I was thinking the other day we need to do some digging. Katie and
Yeah.
Michael, we've got to do some digging and find some
Yeah.
old Darren Ray from US 97.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, I'd love it.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh hey,
We'll
I've
find some tapes.
I've got the scrapbook, and as far as tapes go, that might be hard to find, but yeah. So, but
Love
yeah,
it,
but
love it.
yeah. Again, I'll say that too, though. Even in the radio days, I talk about this. I think about some of the skill set that I learned there that I apply to teaching, and you could probably say the same thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, each phase that you've gone,
Yeah.
you've probably picked up on a little bit, right?
Yep. Yep.
Right. So, well, okay. So, as we wind down here, any final thoughts? I mean, again, as far as the teaching part goes, keep going, sister.
Yes.
'Cause,
yes.
we're,
You're doing a great job. That's
Yeah.
Thank
awesome.
you.
That's
absolutely. And do you ever get the business from your family because you're at Mountain Pine? You grew up Jessieville.
No.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
sometimes I still do a little bit. Well, why would you want to go here? So. But the good news is, I mean, my mom went to Hot Springs, so I got that covered. Dad went to Fountain Lake, worked at Fountain Lake. Wife from Jesseville, worked at
You-
Jesseville, been a
You're a
Lakeside.
Cutter. Y'all just
yeah.
all around
From
Garland
Cutter,
County.
yeah.
My mom graduated from here, so
Oh, she did.
Oh,
Okay.
that's neat.
Okay.
and my grandpa was on the school board.
Wow.
Oh,
okay.
cool.
Yeah. So you
You-
kind of a
you
little
got
bit of a
ties.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
little bit of a legacy going on.
Good.
Yeah, that's right.
Great.
Okay. Well, good
Yeah.
for you.
Cool.
Well, thank you for having us
Yes.
out. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
Spending
enjoyed
time
it.
with us. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys.
And let's party,
Hey.
right? Yeah.
I
yeah.
love it. That's
That's-
perfect backdrop.
That is
Yeah.
100%. So, in fairness to Jessica, that's not her backdrop. So,
No, but it's cute.
Yeah, it is. It is, and pink. Yeah.
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 You see Katie's eyes, just how they gloss.
Oh yeah,
over
we
it.
walked in. She was like, "Oh yes,
Yeah.
pink, pink, yes."
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
Well, again, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
It's been an enjoyment for sure. And this will wrap up this edition of Spilling the Tea in Studio D. And until next time, Darren Beckwith,
Candace Bennett.
we will see y'all on the flip side.